Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Zero to Empire podcast. On this episode, I have Jorge Bonilla, and he's actually a leadership coach and trainer, and he has quite the story. He's helping out the first service responders, and you really should listen into this episode because it's going to be a great one. And first of all, thanks so much, Jorge, for being on this episode. And we're actually going to talk about, for the first question, let's go back 10 years and what actually sparked your journey into leadership today.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And yeah, really good question. When I was probably 13, 14 years old, I was in a bad spot. Uh, Grew up with no parents. And, one day I ended up in the library and decided to pick a book. And it was one of those books of John Maxwell. And from that point, from that moment, I felt like I was meant to do something meaningful, something important, and especially in the topic of leadership and personal development. So that was the starting point for my leadership career that started this journey.
That's solid. And what was your background before the coaching? I know we talked about how you actually were a counselor for a bit, but how did that all go about?
Yeah, so before coaching, I was a counselor. I was working at a university for about 14 years. And before that, I was a professional counselor doing some counseling with family therapy and individual counseling. But but yeah, it was in college when I started to do more of a leadership work with the students um, through mentoring and helping them navigate, the journey of college that can be really tough. So that's how things happen. I was working at a university and then being a counselor there.
That's great. I'm glad you're able to help the kids and the university students. And
Mhm.
was there actually a specific moment that made you say, I'm ready to do something different in relation to the counseling?
Yeah. So while I was in the university, um, the staff or my supervisors or leaders decided to move me into a different department, and that was admissions. So after mentoring and helping students navigate college and coaching them and training them, for a lot of years, out of nowhere, I get the news, right? Hey, you got to move into a different department. So I was, I love what I'm doing right now with students, and um, but I'm open to any ideas. So if you feel like I'm a good fit in admissions, let's do it. So I decided to do it, Sam, and I did it for 4 years and realized just from the beginning that that was not what I wanted to do for my entire career. So it took me a while, just to put the pieces together and decided to just leave that job, after 14 years. Live the benefits, live the comfortable job, great people, amazing students. Um, but I just didn't see myself in admissions recruiting students. And my job was to recruit Hispanic students. And I just didn't connect with it. I was thinking like, hey, I gotta be somewhere else. I gotta be doing something different and work my way over there. And suddenly decided to pull the trigger and chase my dream. And here I am.
That's great. I'm glad you took the risk and you are chasing your dream and now you're changing other people's lives. And so, what actually led you to get certified through IPEC and later on John Maxwell's team? And that's something we talked about before the podcast, but how did you go about it?
Yes. So there was a point too that I didn't want to just focus on problems, mental health, and I think that that's important. But I wanted to help people from where they were up, to achieve their dreams and accomplish their potential. And I realized that coaching was the way to do it, right? To bring people to grow, to develop them, and decided that IPEC, was a good step. And that was 10 years ago in Chicago. I did that and got certified to that to do some life coaching. And that opened a new world for me. gave me better tools to even for myself. And then after that, joined John Maxwell 3 years ago, and that took me to a different level. Um, but John Maxwell was the one that I felt like I connected the most, and that I felt like I needed to go and move forward with that.
Yeah, that's awesome that you're able to go get certified with those two. And can you actually tell us the story of how you ended up getting your first client?
Yes. So after quitting my job, I connected with my daughter's coach. He's a swim coach, and he works at the fire department. And I said, "Hey, um, do you guys need any team building activity or leadership development trainings?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me check with my chief, and then we'll get back to you." And a couple of weeks later, he reached out and he said, "Hey, we have a time and a date, and why don't you come and do something with us?" And then we scheduled time and met them and did a team building assessment with them, and they loved it. That it was so good that they called me again, 4 times to do the same assessment for different teams that they were having. So that was a great experience.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice that you're able to help the first responders and you got invited back multiple times. So, what was actually going through your mind when you got invited back again and again?
Yeah, I think they connected with the resources that I was bringing to the fire department. Um, they won practical application training, and they didn't want somebody telling them what to do. So my approach was more of a, okay, let me facilitate something that you guys can do, learn from that experience, and apply it to whatever you are doing, whether you're a fireman, EMT, or chief. And it seems like that resonated with them very much, that after those 4 sessions, coaching sessions with their teams, they decided to join on a master class with a leadership training curriculum that I have. So they were very satisfied with that content. And even the chief, came to me at the end of the certification process and at the end of the class, and he said, "Hey, you know what, Jorge? This is one of the best trainings I have ever been a part of." And he said, and believe me, I've been a part of so many. I've been a part of so many because they do a lot of trainings. But he said, this is by far one of the best. And I said, so why is that? And he loved the interaction. He loved the application part. He loved the fact that every time I challenge them to learn something, apply it, see how it works, and then come over here and report to the entire team how everything went. So he was very, very happy, to a point that now he's referring me to other places.
That's solid. That's awesome. You're able to make that much of an impact on the fire department, and especially that chief.
Mhm.
And what does your business look like today? Is it still your main clients as first responders, like police, firefighters, or what is it?
Yeah, right now I'm focusing on first responders, firefighters, and police officers. And we do master classes as well. We bring the team assessment that I have that is very popular, and they love that team assessment. Um, and then I go into one-on-one coaching with some of them. And we also use the DISC assessment, the personality assessment, to really help them communicate better. We are wired differently, and the DISC assessment, allows us to learn from different personalities and how people communicate and respond, and how can we just work together.
That's great. And I've heard a lot of positive things about the DISC approach. And
Mhm.
what would you say is one piece of advice you find yourself telling your clients pretty normal or usually?
Yeah, this is a big one. The number one is take full responsibility, right, for your own personal growth, for your own development, because if you don't take that responsibility, nobody else will, right? We're always waiting for the moment to grow, the moment to learn, for people to put those circumstances in our journey, and sometimes they don't come. And you have to be proactive if you want to increase your influence and be a leader. Um, they have to get out of the comfort zone, invest their money and time in leadership opportunities, in personal development, and grow themselves. Because you cannot increase your influence if you're not growing. The more I grow, Sam, the more I can impact other people. And people don't realize that, right? It is up to me that if I want to get better as a leader, I have to really find opportunities, invest in myself. And believe me, I have invested a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of books to get to this point where I can feel like, oh, now I can make a bigger impact, influence people, and also win myself, for myself, for my family, and for my friends, and everybody just gets better.
Yeah, that's awesome that you're using a lot of resources outside to influence yourself and make yourself better so that you can make your community better.
Mhm.
And why do you actually think trust and communication are such missing ingredients in teams today?
Yeah, such a great question. So I think that we're getting to a point where we're so busy. Um, Everybody has their schedule full, packed. We're expecting employees and uh, people and leaders to work a lot. And sometimes those moments of one on one can be very meaningful. And, to build trust, it takes a lot of time and energy. And a lot of times people are depleted with energy and time. So there's no energy and no time. And that is really causing a lot of misinterpretations and assumptions that and expectations, right? False expectations that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and in reality, you know, nobody's getting the job done because we are overwhelmed and there's no healthy, authentic communication, and that's what we bring to the table. Wherever we go, we want to increase communication, improve communication, and we want to work building trust, building those bridges. So that is one of them. And I was thinking about this too, that a lot of us deal with a lot of ego. We think we know a lot. We think that nobody can teach us anything. And we have this ego that really gets in the way of connecting with people in a very humane way, in a very authentic way. And I think that is very sad, right? Because we can all learn something new, and everybody can teach us something. And when we are that open, when we have that mindset, wow, I tell you, trust increases, communication increases, connection increases. So that is kind of like the foundation of building that trust and communication, getting rid of the ego that we all have. That I know it all, you can't teach me anything, and let me do my job, and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Egos definitely can get in our way. And what
Mhm.
does your coaching or mastermind format usually look like?
Yeah, so the masterminds, or I call it master classes, a lot of people don't understand the concept of mastermind. But when you tell them, hey, this is a leadership master class, they're like, oh, okay, I know what that means. So that involves, I keep them small, about 8 people, 8 leaders, and it's very intentional, very practical, and the application is the most important part of the mastermind. So we teach a concept, very briefly. Everybody reads one portion of a book or a chapter, and then we discuss that. We find the application part, and they go out, apply it, and they come back to the session reporting like, oh, you know what, I tried this with my team. And then that's how we create this synergy of, application and energy and getting things done. So
Yeah,
that is the mastermind. Yeah.
yes. And what about the coaching?
Yeah, the one-on-one coaching is could be like a group coaching, like a team coaching experience that I provide to teams, uh, and they love. It's just facilitating. I bring some questions that are very intentional about creating the bond, finding some gaps, and people love that. People just want to share their thoughts. People want to be vulnerable, and people want to be safe in an environment where people are thinking, okay, we can do this together. We have something in common, and we can accomplish things together. So that is the team coaching, and then the one-on-one coaching is 30 minutes, laser coaching, straight to the point. There's an agenda, and you are the one that really leads the agenda, and I'm here to offer some insightful questions, challenge you, push you, and make sure that those goals that you set are going to be accomplished. And that's how it goes. So it's 30 minutes, very short and sweet and straight to the point. And we don't do a lot of the fluff and talking and doing all that kind of stuff.
That's solid. Sounds like a solid deal for both. So where can those actually interested in your coaching services find and reach out to you by?
Yeah, so basically, LinkedIn is a big social platform. Facebook, I have a Facebook page that is called Bonilla Coaching, and I post updates, opportunities for them to join into a mastermind or team building activity. And in fact, Sam, I am hosting a leadership conference coming up in October and in January. It is called Leave to Lead. So I bring world class speakers um, through the John Maxwell organization, and those are rebroadcast. So I bring the license to our community, and people can come to this event where I do a demonstration of coaching. We discuss the sessions, and we come up with some tangible action steps to change teams, to improving your leadership skills. So it's just a great time. I did it last year. We sold out. It was an event that I put out there for the public, and the public loved it. And I'm hoping I'm doing it again, and we're hoping to add value to leaders and people that want to get better, want to get better. So I can post updates on my Facebook page. They can follow me and see that information if they want to join into in one of those leadership conferences.
Yeah, that's solid. It sounds like a great time. And thanks so much for Jorge for being part of the podcast. And for anyone that's interested, make sure to go check out his event. But also, you can message him for your own one-on-one coaching or even group coaching. And yeah, just make sure to do that and see everyone on the next episode of Zero to Empire.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam.